NVBIA's, I guess first time in a long time having an educational session like this. This is sponsored by our Dynamic Future Leaders Group, as well as our Women in the Building Industry. A lot of fire and energy there, and they said, let's do something to have, on the educational front. So we decided to have this session today, something I think that they might find interesting and a little different. We're going to encourage that everybody participate by asking questions. And if you find anyone in the group up here that doesn't know what they're talking about, just say so. Challenge the group, because what I think you'll hear through this session is there's a lot of different opinions on things and a lot of different ways to do things, and different companies do them differently, and a lot of misconceptions that you may have one idea about something just because you weren't exposed to some other issue, alternative, concern. And that's what we want to bring out today, so that we could all discuss and learn a little more about how the building industry works, how builders function and work. My name's Jerry Berman. I'm currently this year's president of NVBIA. I'm area president for MI Homes. We're a national builder out of Columbus, Ohio. I started in the building industry in 1980, before about half the room was born, probably. I skipped you guys to make me feel good here. I'm not the oldest one. A few that look a little. The people with hair on this side of the road. But there is a trend towards baldness. Anyway, I started in 1980, and I've been in the home building industry since then, working almost the whole time for publicly traded, large national builders. I'll let each of the other panel members introduce themselves and give you a short bit about their background. So if we could start with Rob.
Thanks, Gary. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming out. My name is Rob Fisher, and like Jerry, I have been in the building industry since really 1980. I started sort of doing that summer job thing and then migrated into it after college. I started with a small custom home builder, and then moved into the national home building side. And for the actually, I guess I kind of went back and forth. I worked for a small builder down in Old Town Alexandria for about 9 or 10 years, which was a great experience because I was able to work through product design. I worked with the engineers, the architects. We designed the product. I would purchase the project, and then I would actually build it. After that was a terrific experience. In many ways, some of the best experience. And then I ended up, I moved over to Pulte Homes for about 16 years, where I worked until 2009. When I left there, I was the vice president of construction for Virginia, Maryland, Delaware. I started my own company in 2010, right after I left Pulte, and I work primarily, I guess what I would call infill sites, redevelopment, Vienna, McLean, Arlington. I will work outside of those areas, but that is my primary focus. I do spec building as well, where I purchase a lot myself. Again, mostly redevelopment, where I'm purchasing older houses, tearing them down, and building new. And then I like to mix that with, ideally, almost a 50-50 mix of doing custom homes for clients on their lots. And I'll do anywhere from, I've done as few as 3 a year, I've done as many as 8. look forward to today, and I hope I've got some pearls of wisdom for you guys out there.
I'm Diane Cox-Bashir. I started in the building industry in 1975, so I have 5 years on the I entered the building industry after working in communications and broadcast. I was also a reporter for one of the local newspapers, the Northern Virginia Sun, and my beat was to cover City Hall in Falls Church. And I had a degree in political science, and really the two clicked because I was covering zoning hearings of all things. And I discovered, I found the land planning and the process, political process of getting community approved and zoning approved very, very interesting, because I had to really write about it. I would cover these hearings, and it was before the age of computers, and I would go home and I would write from my house in Arlington till about 2:30 in the morning, and I would then get in the car and drive over to the newspaper office and put in my coverage of the zoning hearing so it could be in the next day's newspaper. But one thing led to another, and in 1975 I had a real estate license and went to work for a builder in Vienna selling townhomes, and really learning the building side of it, the sales and marketing side of it. And then later went to work for another builder where I had to spend about 3 years on site out in Great Falls. It was one of the first communities ever built in Great Falls. And the reason I was really on site without a model in a trailer is that the builder went bankrupt. And at about 1977, 78, I had to help finish the houses with, and somehow we pieced it all together and delivered the homes. But by 1973, after working a couple of more sites, usually in those days they were from trailers because pre-sales were great. The Washington market was just doing fabulously, and no one really needed a model in those days. I went to work for Stanley Martin Companies from Marty Alloy. By 89, I was president and co-owner, and left, sold my stock in 95, started my own company, which is Bashir and Edgemore. So it's been a great ride. I love home building. My main enjoyment is to find a piece of land, envision what type of community could exist there, position the product, design the product in the community itself, try not to use the same product every time we build a community, and work through the whole cycle of building. And I enjoy it very, very much, and happy to be here.
My name's Truett Young. I'm with Stanley Martin Homes. I'm the Vice President of Land Acquisition for the Northern Virginia and Maryland divisions. I've been in the building industry for 10 years. Before that, I was in the site development industry for 10 years. The only builder I've ever worked for has been Stanley Martin. I've been through a variety of different places in their land development and land acquisition department for winding up where I am now. So most of what I know about this industry I've learned there, and it's been from the perspective of a privately held, large regional builder that has been focused on growth. Our company has been growing significantly out of the downturn. We're a different company now, significantly different company now than we were in 2005 when I started. I showed up just for the downturn. Had no idea.
You're the reason.
Yeah, I'm right. September 2005. So yeah, I look forward to this this conversation. I am not a strong building guy. I know dirt. I know moving dirt, laying pipe, and buying land and planning communities, which is again from the perspective of our company, what I've been taught at the company. But when it comes to the sticks and bricks, I rely on guys like everybody else on the panel to provide that perspective.
I'm Brian Davidson, Executive Vice President for Van Meter Homes and current Board President for Homebuilding Northern Virginia. Started the industry in 1989 out of college. God's honest truth story. My grandfather was a builder. I wanted to work for a builder. I was coaching a baseball team in Burke, and Van Meter had an office in Burke, so I took a entry-level accountant's job just to make sure I could get to the baseball field. It worked out okay. Been there 26 years, came up on the accounting side, recession hit, the first recession that you don't know about, right? So, and Gary does, and everyone else does, in the early 90s, and I was making $18,000 a year, and they didn't really care about what they were paying me, and got rid of all the higher paid people, and I learned the industry from the ground up. So it's been a great ride, and looking forward to another 26 years. Welcome.
You can hear a lot of different backgrounds, and people in leadership roles in the building industry come from every background. There's lawyers, engineers, accountants, salespeople, construction people, political scientists, reporters, right? Every different background. And it's something that I think you'll find that those who are in the leadership roles in the building industry love building homes. They love taking care of customers. They love the idea of seeing something tangible, whether it be creating a community, building a home, something that you could look at and feel and touch and see and make a difference. And everybody does that in different ways in the room here. Everybody has a role in it, and typically the home building company relies on a huge team, both from within and outside. And I'm just curious if we could get a raise of hand. How many here work for a home builder? Okay, so it's a fair number. And I would venture to guess that you don't understand everything about what your company does, let alone some of the others, but because that's fairly common. You know, you kind of do one thing and you don't get an overview often. And as companies are bigger, you even get less of an overview usually. How many here work for civil engineers? Got some. How about other types of engineering groups? So we have environmental, structural, and geotech. We didn't leave that one out. Distinguished geotech. How about mortgage companies? A lot of people who are very much needed in our business, right? Title companies or settlement companies, representation. What am I missing? Yeah, trade partners for sure. Architects, design. Utilities. What else? Lawyers, I know I see a few in the room. That's why I'm real careful what we say. I won't rub your head again through it. The lawyers. We have advertising, marketing, land development companies, real estate brokers. What else? What else did we miss? The educators, absolutely important group. Manufacturing, building materials, warranty. So think about that. Think about, and we probably, everyone's not represented here for what the building industry does, what the home builders do, how many people we have to rely on. So when it comes down to that, this is what this session's about. What does a home builder do? What reliance do we place on our employees versus outsiders, and how is it done? Who does what? And it's not simple. Just imagine this whole group and all the disciplines that we deal with, and it's not simple. And then we have to deal with the public. Which, that's probably the hardest part, because we don't know what to expect all the time. but we try through expertise to figure that out and deliver what the public wants. So this session will cover that, the home builders. We're gonna, this program was designed to have 3 sessions, today's and then 2 additional sessions. The next session will be all about land and land development, land acquisition development, delivering land to the home builders. And then the final session will be more detail about what happens specifically in a home building company, such as how do you design a home? How do you figure out what the home should look like? So architecture, marketing, sales, construction, home construction, customer service or customer care, which a lot of times we ignore that, but that's a big part of every builder's business, whether they want it to be or not. It's important. Accounting, purchasing, finance. Do we have any commercial bankers? Yeah, very important part of the building industry. So that's what our sessions are going to be like today, and the future ones, we don't have dates yet, but we'll let everybody know, through the e-blasts, when that's going to come up. One other thing that we, NVBIA, put together and wants to see how successful it's going to be, and we're pretty excited about it, is the mentoring program, where, I don't know how many, I think it's maybe 20 of the leaders in our industry, and this handout here kind of describes it, but maybe 20 of the leaders of our industry, and we have more that have volunteered that we just didn't have time to get their bio in here, have agreed to help those who might have questions about their careers or about how the business works, personal things that, someone who might be working at an engineering firm who wants to work for a home builder, or vice versa perhaps. How do I go about doing that? What should I focus on? I'm new to the industry, but I see some other part of the industry that attracts me more. And it will work through a clearinghouse at the NVBIA, where you would submit a question, and you'll get more of that through email after this registration is wrapped up. You'll submit a question, and then one of the mentors will answer it, or more, if they find it to be, a valuable question to answer if they're interested. And it will be anonymous, so that unless you don't want it to be, but you'll have the option of saying, hey, I hate my job, I hate my boss, the company stinks, what can I do about it? You don't have to put your name on that. Unless you want to. And then the mentors will respond to you directly, anonymously, unless they want to give you their name directly. And some will and some won't, but the mentors will want to help. That's why they signed up for this. And some will even request that they get your contact info and have a phone call or meet you for coffee or something like that to discuss the concern and issue you have, to try and help those who are newer to the industry or even have been in the industry a long time and provide advice. So we're real excited about that, and by coming here today, you'll be able to participate in that. One further question before we get into the meat of the program. How many here are in a building-related job for 3 years or less? Raise your hand. So fair number. How about between 4 to 6 years, building-related, your job? Okay, 6 to 10? Couple, more than 10. Okay, so there's a lot of smart people in the room here. not that when you're young and don't have any experience, you're not smart, but there's a lot of people with a lot of experience